Sorry, I can't think of an example of Obama's socialism because only stupid white rednecks have the ability to perceive his socialism, and I'm only half stupid white redneck, so the invisible socialism spotting gene is actually recessive in me. Cough.
Let's see, Obama has implemented socialist Obamacare and bailed out corporations and the bank.
No. Socialist Obamacare. A mandate to buy private insurance is not socialism.
How the hell is socialism for the corporations not socialism? It is absolutely socialism. And expanding on socialist policies such as Medicare and Medicaid and giving it to more people is socialist as well.
It's actually an idea conceived of by the ultra-conservative Heritage Foundation. It was originally conceived of as a measure to fight Hillary Clinton's attempt in the 90s.
But didn't it also expand
universal health care? But it was first implemented in a state by Mitt Romney.
You are actually incorrect to some degree, though. It actually did expand the number of people who are eligible for Medicare and Medicaid.
Boom, bitch. Your own peasants are agreeing with me.
Okay, fine. So maybe it did expand socialism a little bit in that, but those were programs that were currently active.
They already exist. But yeah, but it expanded the eligibility.
It's a private insurance mandate, though. Obamacare fundamentally is a private insurance mandate. Yes. I don't consider it a socialist policy.
Creating socialist laws for the private market is still socialism, and expanding socialist policies for the individual is socialism as well. So you're wrong. It's completely socialist.
How is bailing out the banks a socialist policy too? A giant transfer of wealth from the private sector, or from the public sector to the private sector.
Because it's socialism for the rich. It doesn't have to be just socialism for the poor to be socialism. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, that's socialism.
I guess from the perspective of the ultra rich, it's socialism for them, which is always what we've had in America. Socialism for the wealthy, and then pull yourself up by the bootstraps for everybody else.
And it wouldn't be that way in real capitalism, because in real capitalism, nobody gets socialism, not even the rich. So they agreed with me on all my points. They agreed socialism for the rich is socialism, and Obamacare expanded socialist policies. Watch them get mad for me winning this.
Yeah. Real nice. Whatever. Fuck you, anarchy ball. Fucking lick my balls, you piece of shit. You know, he's so regal, isn't he? Standing there in his top hat with his cane and shit. Isn't he supposed to be an anarchist? He doesn't really fucking, I don't know, top hats and canes and shit really don't evoke in my mind like, I am an anarchist.
Makes you think of a capitalist, though, huh? Perhaps an anarcho-capitalist? TJ, I guarantee, is thinking of an anarchist left-winger, someone who wears a bandana over their mouth and they throw Molotov cocktails.
Like what?
Besides from Obama.
Like what?
Besides from Obama.
Like what?
Besides from Obama. Over the last 100 years, socialist policies such as Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, etc. have been put in place.
Okay, and they're massively popular with the entire population, including most people who identify as conservatives.
Yep.
Just like Christianity. So when will you be accepting Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, amazing atheist? After all, the majority can never be wrong.
If you actually tried to repeal Social Security, that would be a huge transgression against the will of the people. The vast majority of people support Social Security. The vast majority of people support Medicare and Medicaid. I mean, you can say those are socialist policies, but they're popular socialist policies, which to me just shows that socialism is popular.
What a terrible, dishonest way to try to defeat my argument before I even get to say it.
But you can't say Obama created any of that. Yeah. Obama didn't create Social Security. Obama didn't create Medicare and Medicaid.
That's why I started off the sentence with, besides Obama, I'm talking about something completely different now, dude. We're not talking about Obama anymore. I made that fucking clear.
Those were extant programs when he took office. They long predated his presidency.
Was created during, Medicare was created during the '60s. A lot of the stuff like Social Security, that's New Deal.
Shit.
That's like the 1930s.
Yeah, I mean, like that predates Obama's fucking birth,
significantly.
Dude.
Yes.
That predates his fucking birth.
Yeah, that's some FDR shit, dude.
It predates his parents' birth.
That's nice, but I wasn't talking about Obama anymore. I was talking about a completely different subject. That's why I said, besides Obama.
For fuck's sake.
I don't know if it... I just don't know about that. Maybe. Probably.
Was his mom born in 1930?
Policies which are very quickly
Potentially.
becoming bankrupt because they are unsustainable.
Let's discuss.
Are they really unsustainable? I don't think they are.
Well, in the current climate, our current tax climate, I think like most of them are supposed to, like the Social Security trust fund's supposed to run dry in like 2032 or 2038. Like it's roughly like 15 to 20 years from now. But
Oh, look at that. Anarchy Ball's fucking right again. It's almost like this entire video, they've been just doing nothing but agreeing with me. They are admitting defeat.
if you look at with our conservative government, of course, like they're just focused on cutting entitlements. They've always wanted to do that, and it's kind of simple when you cut taxes. I mean, the Bush tax cuts became permanent. We cut capital gains taxes. There's a number of taxes that benefit rich people that were cut. So of course there's going to be deficits.
A quick look at some statistics will show us that that's not the case. There have only been 3 times the government has taken a bigger percentage of our money than now. For all the rest, it has been less. This deficit doesn't come from too little income, it comes from too much spending.
Capitalism. Here's the definition of capitalism. Capitalism. Noun. Capitalism. An economic and
dictionary.
political system in which a country's trade and industry are controlled by private owners for profit rather than by the state.
Okay.
That's not an explanation of
free market capitalism.
That's a very basic.
Just-
What? That's the definition of capitalism,
also,
sure,
you
but that's
just-
very brief and basic.
I'm sorry, you just defined free market capitalism by just defining capitalism. I mean, by that standard of capitalism, I agree with capitalism.
No you don't, because you want the government to regulate the market, not the private owners like the definition explained. But there are 80,000 pages of regulations, and you want to make more, even though they clearly are having the opposite effect intended. If you had a chair and I made you obey 80,000 pages of rules about what you can do with that chair, are you really in control of that chair? No, you're not, just like the private owners are not in control of the private market.
And that's not even mutually exclusive from socialism. You can have some socialism and some capitalism, and in fact, I do believe in a hybrid system, which most people fucking do.
Just because most people believe in a hybrid system of capitalism and socialism doesn't mean that is capitalism, no matter how many times you try to do an appeal to popularity fallacy. I mean, come on, dude. You just ignored the whole definition of capitalism I just read. It says it's controlled by private owners for profit rather than controlled by the state. Then you go and say, see, the state can control the free markets. And you say that right after you just heard that is not capitalism. That is the opposite of capitalism. You're talking about a mixed economy. That's what you want, is a mixed economy. That's different than capitalism. But according to you, because mixed economy is more popular, that makes it capitalism somehow. Or you were just doing that appeal to popularity fallacy for no reason. And I find it funny that you don't understand a definition, even when it was literally just read to you.
That doesn't
Let's
work.
say that you have
No.
some goods that I want, and I have some money that you want. If your goods are worth as much as my money, and my money is worth as much as your goods, then neither of us can increase our wealth by this transaction.
Wealth is generated by the creation of products and services, not
No, it's not.
Actually, yes it does.
by the transactions themselves.
Let me set the record straight. Transactions can create wealth, but creating product does too as well. Let me go further into depth how transactions can create wealth. Value is subjective. All people have different goals, and these different goals are of different importance to different people. Even staying alive isn't a universal goal. People commit suicide. People risk their lives. People sacrifice themselves for life of loved ones. These different goals can only be achieved with different means, making different people value different things. If you had a ticket for a Justin Bieber concert and a 14-year-old girl had a banana, you'd value the ticket at 0 and the girl would value the banana at, let's say, $1. You exchange what you have and you have a banana, which will help you lose weight and become healthy, and the girl will be able to see Bieber. You both value what you now have more. You're both happier. And you both increased your value.
If I cut down a tree and turn it into a bench and chairs, I've created wealth.
No, you haven't.
You've created. No, that's not how.
created bench-
You've created furniture.
Yeah, you created a product to sell, which I mean, it could be used to create wealth.
Exactly, and that's one way wealth is created.
Chicken for plumbing services, I value your fixing my plumbing over the chicken, and you value the chicken over your labor. We wouldn't make the
Okay, I guess there is some subjective fucking value.
TJ earlier said the only way to create wealth in capitalism is by ripping somebody off. So capitalism is nothing but a bunch of people ripping each other off. But he just admitted that's not true. And value in trading is subjective, and two people making a trade can both come out on top.
But like, there's, you know, like, it's if fucking
holy crap, spit it out.
Someone wants to charge me, if I need some product and someone wants to charge me $500 for it, and that's the lowest price I can find, even if that person is, you know, making it for fucking $50 or whatever, you know, I don't have a fucking choice but to make that transaction because I need the fucking thing.
Well, generally, competition keeps the price as low as possible, so that's not really a problem. Not only that, there's competition to serve everybody on the market, even the poor. So the market generally creates products in a bunch of different price brackets, low prices, medium priced, and high end. So everybody is served.
I mean, like, it is about subjective fucking values, but if you're someone who's, like, poorer, or you're someone who's, like, you know, you don't have access to the cheap fucking parts and shit, you know, your subjective fucking appraisal of what that's worth is driven by like fucking market forces beyond your goddamn control.
And the rich aren't subject to market forces. Well, not when you create socialism for them. When you create 80,000 pages worth of regulations, meaning only those rich enough to hire lawyers to decipher that clusterfuck can open a business without going to jail. But who'd be stupid enough to want that and then want to add to those? But they keep us safe from disasters like BP. Oh, wait.
And other people are basically exploiting that in a fucking honestly somewhat predatory way. Now, I don't know if there's a better fucking system out there. I can't conceive of a fucking totally fair way of handling those sort of transactions. And, like, for wealth generation to happen, that kind of has to exist. But that doesn't mean that these flaws aren't inherent within the system.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean we can't do other things to kind of counteract some of the negative things of capitalism, like. I mean, I think they said actually at this point we have greater income disparity than any other time in our history.
Yes, and that's definitely a symptom of capitalism.
Nope, it's the central bank, the fifth point of the Communist Manifesto. Not only is it the socialism for the banks, since they get to loan money from the Fed at an interest rate that's practically zero, the rich, whose lion's share of wealth consists out of stock and real estate, see their wealth grow as the prices of real estate and stocks grow with inflation and many times even outpace it. The poor and middle class, meanwhile, see their cost of living soar.
No, that's because of socialism.
It really is because of socialism.
Unless we both felt that we were coming ahead, so no fraud involved.
But maybe not, because what about labor? What about trading an intangible?
Actually, though, guys, if they would have just worked harder, maybe they wouldn't have been in.
Pull yourself up by them bootstraps. Pull yourself on up by them boots.
I mean, there's only so much money to go around. So, like, literally, even if everyone worked harder, someone would have to take a pay cut in order for more people to make more money.
No, dude, just generate more wealth.
Money and wealth are completely different things. Money is the total of the currency circulating the market. Wealth is the quality and quantity of the goods and services that circulate.
Yeah.
Cut down a tree and make a bench.
Yeah, okay, sure.
For a tangible. Let's examine
people
that.
in benches.
Let's say that you own a gas station. Your gas station makes $2,000 a day in profit. That means after utilities, after employees, after mortgage or rent, after you pay for the goods that stock your shelves, after you pay for your advertising, $2,000 a day on average is what you've got left. So you're making $2,000 a day in profit because you have a workforce. You have laborers who work under you, and they are able to prop you up financially to the point where you can make $2,000 a day.
Labor is only part of the equation. If I had a bull and you had a cow, if I refuse to bring my bull, you'll never have a calf or a milk. That doesn't mean my bull is the sole source of value in that transaction. It also doesn't mean I have a right to then demand that calf and the milk, or even more than the fair share we agreed on before the mating took place. Capital and management are also vital to the company's success.
Well, labor is usually a big deal at most companies, so of course they're going to pay as little as they possibly can. I mean, that's why do you think that all these companies are like, if minimum wage goes up, we gotta start paying people more, just gonna have less jobs. It's like, well, yeah, but if the job is so people are either so poor in quality and so poor in like compensation, they can't even afford anything. What's the point of them having a job?
Why would they have less jobs? First of all, the biggest threat to jobs is not raising the minimum wage. The biggest threat to jobs is fucking automated replacement.
People were saying that during the Industrial Revolution as well. How did that turn out?
Which is inevitable anyway.
And outsourcing.
Yeah, and outsourcing as well.
Let's say you liberals didn't get your way and we didn't have socialism for the rich in the form of indecipherable regulations. What would a businessman do after outsourcing? He'd lower the price because he has competition, meaning the consumer will have more money to spend on different things, creating jobs. The person who got a job in a different country due to outsourcing will have new money to spend, which will come back to the U.S. as well. If it doesn't, the dollar will fall, making it cheaper to buy American goods until it does. The problem of outsourcing solves itself in a market where the rich get no socialism.
But aside from that, I mean, like, if you have everyone making a $15 an hour wage, you're going to have a lot more money infused in the fucking, like, lower and middle classes.
Yeah, people actually spend their money.
And then they're going to spend more money, which is going to create more demand.
Okay, you're a boss. Let's be charitable and assume you won't just fire anyone after the rise in the minimum wage. What will you do with the new cost? You know, the next guy over also has that cost, so you'll pass it to the customers. What do your suppliers do? Well, if they're American, they'll do the same. If they're foreign, well, congrats. You've rewarded them for outsourcing. They'll get to import more into the U.S. until the dollar falls due to trade deficit, created at which point everything's back to zero. Congrats, you just pissed them the wing, and that's the best case scenario.
For goods, which is going to create more demand for people to fucking distribute those goods and shit, and manufacture those goods. I mean, like, are you really this fucking dense? Are you really this fucking stupid?
Well, the really funny thing is that we pretty much know there's going to be rich people and they're going to be fine. Yeah, if their tax rate goes up, are they suddenly going to go, well, I'm not going to spend any more money, I'm not going to have any more businesses because not...
No, they won't. There's this thing called capital flight, and it's a big problem for socialist countries. Do you honestly think that rich people are so stupid that they're incapable of locomotion and they can't move to greener pastures?
I'm being taxed too much, so let me just pull out of this market and have nothing to do with all these hundreds of millions of people. No, we know they're still going to do their shit.
I mean,
but if the middle class does better, then there's going to be a lot more demand because there's a lot more fucking average people out there than there are fucking billionaires and millionaires.
The exact figure is easy to find online, but I've read somewhere that, like, if McDonald's wanted to raise its wages to $15 an hour, they'd have to raise the price of, like, a Big Mac, like 5 to 10 cents or some shit like that.
The cost of a Big Mac currently is $4.93 in the U.S. on average. 10 cents being enough to double the wage would imply that McDonald's only spends 2% of its expenses on labor. In reality, they spend 26%. And again, you assume that their suppliers also won't have to raise their prices.
And it's like...
Oh, no.
Doesn't that seem like almost a fucking no-brainer? We could pay our employees much better if we just slightly, like minusculely to the point where barely anyone even fucking notices, raise our prices? I mean, it seems like a no-brainer to just do that in a fucking heartbeat.
Pro tip, when a deal sounds too good to be true, it's too good to be true. That's how scams work.